Hello there, Gemini. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly video forecast. This forecast is for the month of May, and I am going to break this down into two segments. We're going to have, first of all, May the 1st through the 15th, and then after that we'll do the 16th through the 31st. So let's put some cards down for the first segment for you, Gemini. Okay, Gemini, the first thing that I'm looking at does talk about your environment, and your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So for most people, yeah, it's going to be home, but not always. So I want you to have sort of an open mind about what I could be seeing here for you. So it looks like there is some kind of a break where your environment is not... You're not able to do everything that you would normally do in that environment. So there's something going on where people are having to take a break because the environment basically needs to regroup and possibly be redone in some way. That's interesting. All right, let's look at subconscious leanings, Gemini. So this is going to vary depending if you're a man or if you're a woman. So I'm going to look at if you're a man first. If you're a man, then your subconscious leanings are about somebody in your life that you would like to care for, somebody that you would like to partner up with, somebody that you would like to be responsible with for creating a life together. And if you're a female, then Gemini's, what this would say is that you are looking for that person who would be a qualified romantic partner for you, somebody. And notice my words, I didn't say a qualified long-term lover. I said a qualified romantic partner. So on your subconscious mind, you're looking for somebody who's actually qualified to partner up with you so that you guys can build a life together. Either way, if you're a guy, you're just looking to be somebody's partner. If you're a female, you're looking for that ideal partner, okay? Now, or actually there's another way that this could be coming in too. For those of you who already have partners, what's in your subconscious mind may not be so much about looking for the partner or looking to be the partner. It could be looking to be a better partner, but definitely on your subconscious mind is this idea of your partner and your partnership. So either in the version of looking to be a better partner in that partnership, or if you're coming at it from the other angle, you could be, if you're a female, you could just really have your partner on your mind, and you could be feeling really grateful for the partner that you have and the person that they are, okay? And I'm saying male and female, but that's kind of loose. It sort of depends on what gender that you prefer to create a romantic partner with. But you know, I'm not even going to say that it necessarily depends on that. Let's stick with the gender. I like that. I think we're going to stick with the gender situation the way I said it ahead of time. So if you're male, you're looking to be a better partner, and on your subconscious mind, if you already have a partner, is how can you be a better partner? If you don't have a partner, you're looking for who can you partner up with, and you're thinking about the things that you bring to the table. If you're female, then what you're doing is either you are looking for that appropriate romantic partner, or you are, if you already have the appropriate romantic partner, you're really thinking about the romantic partner that you have and thinking about this person in appreciation and with gratitude for who they are. We're sticking with that. Okay, now let's move on. That's entirely too much time on one card. Let's look next at learning style and also communication style during this time frame. So I feel like there's something that you have been learning about, for some of you all of your life, for a lot of you many years, but definitely we're talking about some type of continued learning that is going on where you're adding to what you already know. For some of you this could be some kind of continued education classes, but for others of you this could be something that you've just had a lifelong fascination with, or a fascination with it that's been going on for a while. I don't feel like that's the only thing you're learning. I think there are other things you're learning as well, especially where your curiosity leads you, and also having to do with bringing in stability into your life, whether that's financial or emotional. But there's something here that tells me that you are learning about bringing in that stability as well as the other things that I saw. Now, communication style, Geminis. I think that I'm seeing some what I would call fancy communication here. So some of you may be sending out invitations or engraved invitations, or something that is more formal type of communication during this particular time frame, or you could just be designing it for some of you and sending it out later. But I do feel like there's a little fancy foo-foo to some of the communication that you're doing during this time frame. I do feel also, Geminis, that you're being very tactful, and you're trying to really make the other people feel good whenever you're talking to them in general. At least during this time frame, you're trying to be aware of what do other people want to hear and how can I dress that up for them. Okay? Now, next thing that I'm looking at, dressing something up is not a bad thing. I hear some of you guys tripping out on that. No, no, no. That's just you're saying what you need to say, but you're finding a nice way to say it or a sweet way to say it. You're just trying to be extra considerate on what you're saying. I don't think that you're changing what you're saying. You're just trying to be extra considerate about how you bring it across. Okay, and that's not a bad thing, like I said. Okay, next up, Geminis, we're looking at your work. Excuse me. For work, I think that some of you are dealing with some type of disappointment at work. For some of you, this has to do with some type of water issue that comes up at work. But for others of you, this has to do with the idea of the character and integrity that you thought the people around you at work had, or at least one person in particular. And I think that you may be seeing that it's not exactly to the high level that you thought it was. So for some of you, this is going to have to do with character and integrity of the people that you work with or work around. For others of you, this has to do very much with a very tangible physical water situation that comes up at work that causes some type of disappointment. All right, next thing that I want to look at talks to me, Geminis, about that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. I do see you coming into this position of being kind of sentimental about things that happened in the past and looking back at, the good old days. Now, there could be somebody that's coming back from the past that brings those memories up. Does not have to be when I see this card. I think for a lot of you, though, you are going to be talking about the good old days with somebody else. For some of you, this somebody else will be in the past and they'll remember those good old days with you. But for others of you, this is going to be just sharing those experiences with somebody who maybe wasn't around, who's maybe a little bit younger or just was in a different place during that time. But there's definitely this sense of sentimentality of old memories that were really positive that are playing a role as you go through this time frame. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at, Gemini, has to do with something that you stand for. This is a position in the spread that's actually influenced by the planet Mars, which means you could stand for it rather aggressively if needed. And so we're going to look at that thing that you stand for during this time frame. And when we look at that, generally there's a person who has asked you to explain your position or maybe even has confronted you about this. And so that's why you're basically standing for it. So we're going to look at what it is you're standing for, and we're also going to look at how the other person sees you after you have a conversation about whatever this is. So it's interesting what comes up that you're standing for, Gemini. It looks to me like there is something that has happened where you felt like you had to present things in a way that was not exactly how they happened. So basically, you felt like you had to fib a little bit, Geminis. And to me, I don't think that you felt very comfortable with it, but I think that you definitely had your reasons for not telling exactly the truth to somebody in your sphere of influence. And so there's somebody here who is tagging you on this. They're saying, hey, I know the real deal. Why didn't that sound like the real deal when it came out of your mouth? You know, and so you're defending this. So what happens is the other person, after they have this conversation with you, they feel like you're really confused about something. They feel like whatever was your reason for not shooting things straight, that reason had to do with an idea that you were really confused about something, and that's what brought you to this point where you decided to say something that was not exactly the truth. Okay, so the next thing that we're looking at here talks to me about that lesson or experience that you go through during this time frame. And what we have coming up is, for your lesson or experience, you're interacting with somebody who normally is very energetic, very outgoing, very social, really good at problem solving. They think outside the box. But this person that you're interacting with that's normally like that is in a situation right now where they have a problem and they're really not coming up with any solutions about how to get out of this problem, or at least not any solutions that they're willing to settle for. All right, and so I think as you're interacting with this person, I think they are going to be sharing with you what it is they're trying to figure out, not only in hopes that maybe you have an idea for them, but also I think it just helps to have somebody listen for them. It helps for them to be able to spit this out and hear it as they're talking about it to somebody else. So you're not necessarily under pressure to fix this problem as much as you're more under pressure to just kind of be there for this person as they talk through the situation for themselves. Now, as you're interacting with this person, there's a couple other things going on in your life. First of all, there is a situation that has been a source long-term of tension or anxiety that is now coming to an end. It is coming to a close. As it comes to a close, I do feel like there's going to be somebody that you are no longer communicating with or talking to. Somebody that I don't feel like you're completely cutting them off. I don't think you're blocking them from social media or making it so they can never get in touch with you. But I do feel like after this ending, after this closure of this situation that brought you anxiety or tension, I don't see you initiating contact with this person. I think you're going to be very quiet when it comes to this other person that's involved. And then once we get to the end of this time frame, what we see is that, what is this really? I think that what is happening actually is that you're going to be hearing some kind of news or some kind of message that you are not prepared for. You're not, and when I say not prepared for, I think that when you hear this, you're basically not going to know exactly how you want to react. You haven't ever really thought about this scenario coming up as a possibility, and so you're just not sure how to react whenever you hear this news that comes in. And so I think you may take a couple of days to sort of sort this out and think things over before you give an answer. But I do feel like there is some kind of answer required for whatever this news is that comes in. Somebody is waiting to know what your reaction is. And I think that you're being very careful to make sure that you are giving the reaction that you want to. You just have to sort out what is the reaction that you want to give, Geminis. Okay, so that ends the first section of May. I'm going to take a break for my voice and I'll be back and we'll do part 2 of May then. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, Gemini. This time we are going to look at the second half of the month, so May the 16th through the 31st. Thank you for spending some of your precious time with me here today. I do appreciate that. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also share it with somebody else if you know somebody else who would benefit from it. Let's put down your cards, Gemini, and see what shows up. Okay, Gemini, we're starting off with your environment. If you remember, environment is anywhere where you have energy or effort invested. And what I see here, what is going on with the environment? You may be paying it off or paying a significant chunk towards your environment during this time frame. So if you have a mortgage, you may be paying that off. If you have a lease, maybe you're paying for the full lease. You know, this could be to paying, like if you had deferred rental, this could be, paying off that deferred rental or paying a portion of that off at least. But there's something going on around the environment where there is something that you are paying back or paying off. Okay. Next thing that I'm looking at for you, Geminis, is your subconscious leanings. And your subconscious leanings are really around this idea. This is really interesting considering your subconscious leanings last time were about partnership. This is about the idea of being self-sufficient, of being independent, and how do you pull that off? What would that look like for you? So direct contrast, things must have really changed between the first and the last part of May. Now, next thing I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. So learning style, I do see a lot that you're picking up just because you're curious, you're asking questions, you're sort of following your nose on the information that you're picking up. And I think that you've got some kind of information that you're picking up during this time frame that gives you a big desire for something that maybe you didn't even have before. Now, as far as communication style, we have you coming up as I think that your communication style right now is kind of complicated. There's a lot of layers in what you're saying, and that may be because you're sort of thinking of things that are complicated and sort of in layers. And so I feel like you're revealing to people certain information, just peeling back one layer at a time to see, okay, what are they going to do with this information? How are they going to handle this information? Well, let's try this layer and see how they handle that. So I think that you're being fairly cautious in your communications because you don't want to overload somebody with the things that you're really thinking about or working on. Next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about work. We have a really nice card here when it comes to work. This talks about things being in a good balance. So this talks about not only like time and schedule where you have enough time and energy to work, but you also have time and energy for your home life, for your social life, for you. But this also talks about things being very balanced at work. So things are running in a fairly smooth and even-handed type of way. All right, the next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded as you come through this particular time frame. Once again, we have something that has to do with that whole independent theme coming up here about being on your own, being very creative, and able to really produce everything that you need for yourself. Now, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about something that you stand for, and also how the person that you have stood up for this thing, how that, you know, after they hear you stand up for it, how do they feel about you and about this situation? So it looks to me like there was a major shakeup in your life, and I feel like you're the person responsible for this shakeup. I feel like you chose this. You decided that, you know what, there has to be a change here for things to get better. And so you put that change in motion, fully conscious and fully aware of it. And after you have defended doing this, the other person sees you as somebody who, they see you as not such a nice person, basically. They see you as somebody who could have some intentions that are less than good. So it may be that like say that you decided to shake something up and you own your own business and you decided that you had somebody in the business who really was just dead weight, dragging things down, costing you money. And so you realize that for the sake of your business, you were going to have to let this person go. Maybe you have tried putting them in different positions and every time the results are the same. And so you came to the conclusion, I have to let this person go. So this is a shakeup. Okay, so letting this person go is a shakeup that you would come to consciously, that you would come to the conclusion you need to do, and you do this. So this could be that we're looking at this person who you caused the shakeup for, could be considering you as somebody who really was, you know, toxic, or they just are not appreciating why you're doing what you're doing, that you're looking to add stability to your situation, and they are seeing you as the most simple way to say it is they're seeing you as the bad guy. Okay, they're not seeing the big picture here. They're just seeing you as the bad guy. So let's say that if this was your employee that you had to let go because everywhere you put them, they end up costing you money instead of helping you make money. This could be somebody that really has like this backlash towards you, like as you're letting them go and as you're explaining why, they could really resist that a lot, and they could get even a little bit ugly about it. Okay, so to me it looks like you've caused some kind of shakeup here because you've come to the conclusion that this is something that needed to happen, that you needed to have this shakeup, and whoever this is that you've talked about this shakeup to, they are not appreciating it, and they feel like you're going in the wrong direction. Now, I guess what I'm trying to say here is just because they feel like you're going in the wrong direction doesn't mean you actually are. Sometimes those people who feel like we're going in the wrong direction are the ones who were dragging us down or costing us money. So, and this doesn't have to be in the work arena either. That was just like a good example I could come up with on the top of my head. This could be in personal life where you're shaking things up for somebody who's in your personal life and they're not very happy about it, even after you explain it to them. Okay? So anyway, you're rocking the boat and you're making some waves, and somebody is not very happy about it. Now, let's look closer to the end of this time frame. I do feel like you had taken some time to sort of take a break, to think things over, to look at things from different perspectives, to get more objective. Now you're coming back into full activity, doing all the things that you normally do. You've got the new perspective that you needed. Now you're ready to fully integrate with life. During that process, we have, interestingly enough, Gemini, we have this card showing up again of slowing down on communication, not reaching out to somebody, not blocking them, but not reaching out to them either, letting them come to you if they want to communicate. Also during this process, I see you doing some things to really take care of you and to nurture you at a personal, emotional level. You are finding that balance for yourself emotionally. And then once we get up to the very end of this time frame, it looks to me like there's somebody who is offering you the opportunity to work together with them, whether this is an employer or a business partner or a romantic partner, a family member, or something. Somebody is offering you this opportunity to collaborate with them, and I think that you are turning that down. You're feeling like that is not in your best interest, and so you're turning that down when that opportunity comes up. Okay, so that's what we have for the month. Gemini, thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate all of your support. Everyone have a fantastic month, and if I don't see you here for a live reading between now and then, I will see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.